Yeah, turn it on if you can.
Hi everybody, welcome to, what number is it, Les?
13. 13.
12, I think. Welcome to the 12th Open Mic Night at Busybird Publishing. I think everyone knows who I am, but I'm Blaise van Hecke. I'm one of the 3 Busybirds here tonight. You've all met Les Zigamanis up the back, and Kev Howard, who's on the camera. Kev's going to be taping everything tonight. So if you don't want to have your face on YouTube, please let me know. We try and edit it down a little bit so it's not so long, but we do like to put everything up so that people can have a look. Okay. Now, I don't tend to go in the order of the running for anyone who hasn't been here before. Is this actually annoying? So I'm going to be mixing you up. So if anyone has a particular place that they want to read, please let me know. But I'm going to, since Bo's first, I'm going to start with Bo. So Bo is going to read a short story called Freedom.
Or part of the short story.
Part.
Don't want to bore anybody with the entire thing. Before I get started, is there anybody here who hasn't heard of page 17? Quick little sprig first. I edit page 17, which is a Busybird-based publication. It's an annual anthology of short stories, poetry. We do some non-fiction as well. We even have a competition where our front cover is determined by entries. We are nearing the end of our submission window for issue 11, which is this year's issue. So we have about 2.5 weeks left on that. This is the little beauty right here. So we'll be doing issue 11 this year. We've got until June 30th to take submissions for our general entries and also for our competitions, which the difference is general entries are for competition, general entries are for publication, competition entries are for publication. Which ironically I've got you trapped here in order to listen to. Carl keeps his head down as he rushes along Rebecca Street, stretching his coat across his chest so that no passers-by can see the blood stains on his shirt. He tried to get the red spatter out with saliva and a thumb, but only succeeded in smearing it. Although it was raining before, maybe he can soak it in a puddle somewhere. He can't go home. Ruka will know what happened as soon as she sees him, even if she doesn't see the shirt. She'll see the skin torn off his knuckles and the guarded look in his eye, and the place sneezes of dust. His stiff fingers slowly, laboriously maneuver his phone out of his pocket into his ear. He's surprised he manages to answer before it goes to voicemail. Yeah? You home? Shane's perpetually uninterested voice drifts through the line. No. Thought you might be tucking out after that display. Better tuck yourself in soon because tomorrow's going to be a blast. There's a chink of glasses. Shane's probably serving someone at the bar. Carl nods before remembering Shane can't see the gesture. Sure, mate. As long as you know what's coming, says Shane. Sorry. He hangs up. Carl tries to shove the phone back in his pocket, but he misses it and hits the ground with a dull thud. An elderly man, almost lost in his high-collared coat, walks past and screws his nose up as Carl stoops to collect the phone. Carl stares after him. The man looks back. Carl starts following him, and after a few paces, the man is practically power-walking. The pool hall where Shane had originally worked. Carl had worked there for a while as well, before long the boss had decided he couldn't be trusted behind the bar. Carl knew he needed a job that wasn't surrounded by liquor and easy-to-open cash registers, but he'd come back to the pool hall to beg Shane for a job after the 5th job interview in a row questioned the long gap in his CV and stabbed holes through his lame answers. Shane had moved bars, and Carl never questioned why.
We have the current exhibition, which is staying up for a couple of more days, a bit longer than it was aimed to, but that's because we have Barry Dickens starting next week, so we had a bit of a gap, so we've left this one up. Obviously these are still for sale if anyone is interested. But we have Barry Dickens starting next week, and it's an open invitation to the opening, which is Saturday week. And we have Don Watson here to launch it. So there's more of these flyers up there if you'd like one. And the Yarra County Regional Library has their Book Lovers Festival next month. And Kev, who's up the back here, he's going to be doing a workshop on photography, and I'm going to be doing a couple on, one on publishing and one on writing, so there's some flyers up there for that as well. Okay, Colleen. Oliver, I put you up there. Colleen is going to read a poem called St. Peter's Advice. Come on.
Thank you, Blaise, and good evening, everyone. This is my first time, so I usually write stories, but I do have a few odd poems, and tonight I've chosen to do a poem, which is called St. Peter's Advice. The day will come for me, mate, when me fate I can't defer. They'll then stick me in a coffin and sadly speak of how things were. Me friends will all be crying, they're going to miss me now, you see. But they'll be quietly thinking, geez, I'm glad it wasn't me. Sharing stories of the old days and how things used to be. Their time is drawing closer as they sip their cup of tea. I'll be looking down from heaven and wishing I was there done on earth. Then what about the bad things that have happened since your birth? He'll be weighing up the answers in order to deliberate. Will he really let me enter as he ponders on me fate? Remembering that moment when you kicked your brother's head, were you really truly sorry for all those swear words that you said? Of course I was, St. Peter. Why, surely you can tell. Could never stand the heat in summer. Please, don't cast me down to hell. Okay, I'll let you enter. On one condition, though, you see.
Launching?
Yes.
Soon? Yeah. Cool. The one that's been launched here?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so very just better make sure before I tell people, is your launch going to be open to the public?
It will be,
Yes.
yes.
So I'll let you tell people.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Is there a gong to tell me to go off like Red Simon's band? Yeah, that's right. I've been working on a novel for a few years now, and I put it away, and last year I got it back out and went through the drafting process. And I discovered Busybird and thought, what a lovely place for a launch. And I'm lucky enough to have a very large family. Jackie couldn't see. She tried everything from pulling down the visor and guiding the seat forward to squirting the windscreen so many times the dispenser ran dry and the blades swished dirt. Glare hit the top of her steering wheel. She ripped off her sunglasses, flung them on the console, only to retrieve them when the setting sun threatened to impale her eyeballs into her headrest. Then there were the bugs. They were flung against the window and dried on impact. She triggered the wipers to scrape them away, but their corpses smeared with the other muck that had worked its way onto the glass. She thought about pulling over in a small country town or a large sheltered truck stop, but she wasn't tired. They all had places to go, things to do, and she didn't want Tam to wake up and rant about wasting time when she promised to drive the Rutherglen to Yarrawonga stretch as quickly as possible. Tam's brother's place was nearby, and Tam wanted to drop in before heading back to Melbourne. Tam wanted to borrow his water skis. She wanted an yesterday. Even said she'd share the driving when they first talked about it. But a half hour down the road, Jackie's passengers stopped talking about anything, even the weekend party. She was on her own with the pre-dusk sun and molten asphalt for car. She said something in her sleep and tilted her head further into her pillow. Beyond, the bush shrunk inward, desperate for a water source, turning away from the gravelly dust at the side of the road. Jackie might have stayed in Rutherglen if Tam and Kate had been able to find their own way home, if only to prove to herself that meeting Ned hadn't affected her. Slowing down to take a curve in the road, she ran her tongue along her lower lip. She was totally affected, and running home to avoid the spotlight. Coward. At least she was brave enough to admit that he made her feel scared, that what he made her feel scared the crap out of her, even more than the thought of the next year's internship. If only the image of Ned Doherty would set with the sun, but he stacked her vision. Great shoulders, thick hair, sexy smile. What if she was steering and swayed the car back from the gravel grades? Her fingers tapped the weekend temple on the steering wheel. Her other hand combed at her black hair arranged into the most chaotic ponytail ever, and her mind strayed back to Ned. It stayed on Ned, and the sun, and the stones were the backdrop to that taste of Rutherglen. She'd met him she'd met him before a few months ago when Kate's family invited her to stay at their property. Tam and Kate were both from northeastern Victoria. Their network spread from the border down through the high country to outer Melbourne.
So she leaves us wanting more. So August the 10th. August the 10th is going to be launched, so if you want to find out more, come along. Paul, several titles.
Yes.
Poems, anyway. Paul's going to...
Indeed. Thank you. Hopefully you've got the name too. Right, I'll start off with... I never know what to read. Okay, they're very short, that's why I said a few. This one's called No Sense. Alright. I'm a vegan. Well, almost a vegan. If someone cooks me a meal, I'll eat it. I'm not rude, within reason. Or something is really nice, I'll eat it then. My shoes are leather. I know it makes no sense. I'd rather not go into it. I'm allergic to cats, sometimes. Sometimes I pick up a cat and nothing happens. It's the pedigrees that do it. Someone will go, here, have a cat. And I'll be like, uh-oh. And then nothing will happen. It makes no sense at all. This one is after a Kevin Brophy poem called A Cup of Tea, or as Bronwyn Manger and me call him K-Bro. A good cup of tea is poised, so everyone becomes your auntie. Below the base of the nose, time is infused. The afternoon sighs. A butterfly may dance through your field of vision. You needn't look around. The room and chairs are recognised as old friends. I've had pet rats for about 10 years, so I got a book out of it. The thing is, only half of it's rat poems. Anyway, things to do in Moreland. Buy an umbrella from thrift shop. Buy a backpack from thrift shop. Pick up dead pigeon. Bury under the tree in Safeway car park. Get egged by a car full of teenagers. Write a poem about getting egged by a car full of teenagers. Eat an overripe banana. Stare at old Italian men staring at you. Tell Becky you have no money. Get dinged by a tram. Meet Andy and bitch about poets. Go to Brunswick Hotel and watch people get drunk. Go to falafel joint at midnight and pack colon. See Sydney Road glazed in the wet. Punch self in the head just to feel something. Plod along Mary Creek. Kiss behind the willow tree. Sniff fingers and look at the stars. So I wrote this there, and it's called Royal Park. We were both in shock. Yours killed you. Mine still echoes through my days. For the outer layer of the onion, oh, did you make me cry. And in this godly place, the sunset is disturbed. The silence is disturbed. Your burial mound is disturbed. Thank you.
Okay.
First of all, I'll do one that I have committed to memory. Written about 200 poems now. No, 3. Short background. Holiday up to Cairns and drove my wife to the supermarket. She was in. I was sitting in the car. There was an Aboriginal man right on the edge of town, and he was looking over these thousands of acres of sugarcane. And he just stood there looking over this sugarcane, and I wondered what the hell he was thinking. And so this is what I come up with. I stand here watching over the white fella's farm. He got his farm from his white fella father, a bird. I got nothing from bird, except things. Got nothing from being a child except watching all the old black fellas sitting on the pub porch waiting for all the white fellas' fences to disappear. I stand here watching over the white fella's farm and I know I shouldn't hold no grudge, because I got some land. It's got a nature strip. Are a foreign land to me. Churches are a foreign land to me. Once or twice a year I creep on through, for weddings seated on some lumpy pew or Latin Mass before the cemetery. I can't acquire divinity, the Trinity, the incense trinketry, or stained glass hue, designed for glory when the sun shines through. Missionary is just a position for me. So in the prayers and hymns, the cloistered symmetry of voices fills the God space with orchestral stew. I stand removed, my lips set in agnostic glue. Not one amen escapes as the godly frown on me. One day, perhaps on my deathbed, cynically, or else I'm a craze from cap to shoe, I may be misled to the whole blue. But till then, I'll remain atheistically me. I do get God, he's just not getting me. Myself when, what did I see? A single white pew that curled up at me. I cried, oh time, please. By Christ, you're a pest, you've nobbled my knees, don't widen my nest. I wanted to shout, you cubes so heinous, you trespassing lout, get away from my penis. So I plucked out the strand and held it up to the light in the palm of my hand, where it sat, curling bright. You can dodge, you can tack, but you can't cheat your fates. In a month he was back with a couple of mates.
Thanks, Gary. We're going to have Luke Morris with, I'm assuming part of a novella?
Part of it.
Part of it, yes. The Wine and Spirit Travel Diary. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yes.
On spiritual. I was just reminded last night, my sister, I was helping her with the computer, and something on the screen, she went like this to us. So, it's just a screen. Typing. Yes, my name's Luke Morris. I write some articles and short stories and reviews. I do have a blog, so I'll mention that. It's not a blog, it's a website. It's on www.bucketofwork.wordpress.com. So if you don't like this, maybe you'll like that. So, I've been working on a novella, and hopefully I'll have it finished this year and in time for Christmas. And this is a short part of it. It's called The Wine and Spirit Travel Diary of Dean Holdsworth. And it is part of it. Day 8, September 27th, Thursday. I was worried about this morning. Dressed in my least creased clothing and with hair finger combed, I went to meet Alex. I didn't feel great, but the thing that was responding to me. Added to this, I also wanted to know if there were any importers he would recommend. We met at Providence for brunch, a restaurant cafe he liked. It is probably still there, though the term brunch got wiped out of the English language in the late 1990s. I only revived the word here because describing what we did as sharing a mid-morning meal sounds like we were on a play date. The room has been living in London for 2 years. Apart from working locally, he also travels and sells wines in Europe and America. Sometimes he takes a commission on sales, sometimes he makes the full trade. He knows how lucky he was to get the job here, and now seems to want others to help others to achieve. From our time in Melbourne, I know that he works hard and that he knows a lot about selling wine. And since luck in business is mostly due to hard work, I'm not surprised that he's had success. One thing I noticed, was how he has changed. He was harrowed, not dramatically. He still had the short shoulders of a rugby player and the same hair as 10 years ago. And it wasn't that he...
Thanks, Rick. Okay. David. David is going to read The Tale of the Timid Knight.
No, different.
Different David? Or David... Yeah, David Russell. David Russell, yes. Sorry.
Two days, I mean.
We have got two Davids, I just realised. Sorry about that.
We could do it simultaneously. We're still wondering what happens to the three pigs. I'm not doing the three pigs tonight. I'm doing a tale of the timid knight.
David? Hamala. Sorry, I didn't mean to give you a fright. Pamela's going to read a fairy tale called Blinkatella. Is that correct? Yes.
This is a fairy tale. What happens previously is there's a lady in a garden in summer, and these fairies come and visit her. Some of them have problems, and she helps some of them. And this is the story of Blinkatina. Summer was almost over. No rain, and many flowers were wilting, fading, or dead, in spite of a daily injection from the automatic sprinkler system. I opened the back door. Was I stepping into the past? Many flowers had regained their colour. A few were nodding their heads with relief. I smiled, the work of another fairy. But hubby will ask what fertiliser I used. He's foolhardy, goes out in the storm with a bucket of water to drown any leaf that looks sad, with no thought of the consequences to his own health. With beaded eyes and acute hearing, I sauntered around our garden for several minutes, searching for that elusive fairy. Bang! Devilish Taz had knocked down a pot plant. Now he was sniffing and destroying our favourite white lilies with huge, intermittently coloured crimson, silver and mauve poking out above her dark brown cow eyes. Wow, 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 woof, woof. I grabbed Taz. Oh, you little shh. No juicy tidbits for you today. But he continued to glare at the fairy, so I sat on the grass with him placed firmly between my knees and arms. What is your name? I asked excitedly, while Taz wriggled trying to break free. She replied in a barely audible voice, I'm Blinkatina. Is that because of your large eyelashes? Yes, they have magical powers. I'm held in high esteem by the Fairy Queen, as I do not abuse these powers or interfere with Mother Nature. I give colour. They are for other magical powers. My crimson ones change musical rhythms and amplify or reduce noise. The silver ones change and enhance colours. My mauve ones can make things smaller or bigger by a few inches. That would be very annoying, even dangerous. No, I only use my magic for good causes. Taz was bored with all this chatter, and that silly flying insect was now motionless. I relaxed my grip. He trotted away, laying supinely on the grass, kicking his legs in the air. Suddenly, I had a brainwave. Blinkatina. No, call me Blinky. Blinky, my dog is white. But when he gets so dirty, and I'm tired of bathing him, do you think you could change him to black? I pleaded. Are you sure? You might not like it. But you could change him back again. He was calm. My eyelash caught. The magic would work this time. As the haze surrounded Taz again, he started yelping loudly and softly as he changed from white to black to polka dots and grey and grew bigger and smaller by the nanosecond. Blinky's eyelashes were completely tangled. I was panic-stricken. But Taz soon became his normal colour when the eyelashes had untwisted themselves. So sorry about that.
Okay, Gillian. Gillian's going to read some poetry. Nice to see you again.
I was able to come at the last minute because my husband's getting cancelled. So I just grabbed a couple of poems which are related, and they're not really very original, they're both a bit derivative, but They're both to do with public transport. So the first one was written after I came home late one night with my partner by train from the city and to Eltham Station, where we live in Eltham. And the birds were making this incredible cacophony, and it was really late at night. And my partner said to me, "Why aren't the birds asleep?" And then I looked up and said, "Look, there were really bright lights, and that's why the birds were still awake, making all the racket." So I wrote this poem based on after a favourite poem of mine called The Windhogger by Gerald Manley Hopkins. I heard this evening, evening's chorus, dusk's cacophony, the mingling of a million songs, mellifluous monotony, from far-flung feathered friends, phrasing with frivolity, letting loose their final fling with avian ferocity. Each flock's flight faltered in flow-stopping viscosity. They faced the fadeless light by man's monstrosity. Did they feel joy at day's extent, or did they sing despair? How many tiny minds were trapped in instinct's thrall? How many hearts were winding down, worn beyond repair, as they paid desperate heed to what they thought was nature's call? In performance of this ritual for all who listened there, the crepuscular chirping choristers gave their song its all. I wrote that because I always wanted to use the word crepuscular. And the other poem is called The Man from Parliament Station, and it'll be quite obvious from whom I got this inspiration. I wrote it when I was working in the city and travelling back at peak hour on the train, and I broke my foot, and I was in a situation where I had this big sort of moon boot on my foot, and I actually couldn't stand. I told and it was really quite interesting seeing who gave me a seat and who didn't, and that inspired this poem. There was movement at the station, for the word had passed around that the 6:11 train would run that day. So I joined the wild commuters who were gathering around and exposed my weary bodies there. A stripling, such a small and greedy chap, looking undernourished, undersized, with his iPod in his ear, at 90 decibels at least, blaring music that we old farts quite despise. He was pale and thin and scruffy, could use a bath, I thought, but there was courage in his quick, impatient tread, and he bore the bag. But then he said, "I'm doing this for you. I can see you're not too steady on your clearly ageing pins, so I'm making sure that you can get a seat. I don't know where you're going, but I bet it's way too far for you to make the journey on your feet." He held back the commuters and let me climb aboard, then helped a single mother with a pram. He retreated to the platform as the mob now ventured in, and waited while a lagger joined the jam. There was no place left for him, but he merely shrugged and waved, thin by the hot air, heavily laced with rhetoric and arrogance aplenty. And tell me, people have begun to care. The transport system's being fixed, and push bikes will be free. Cycle lanes, not car lanes, will be wide. The man from Parliament Station will be a household word one day, as passengers tell the story of his ride. I'd like to do a quick commercial, if that's okay. I run monthly concerts, which usually are at St Margaret's, but while it's being renovated, I'm not able to do that. So they're actually at the Eltham Senior Citizens Centre, and I'm afraid the next one actually clashes with the Friday night of the New Voices, which is a bit unfortunate. But it's a French group, Belle Musette, and they're performing songs of Paris from the 1930s to the 1960s. So I've got a pamphlet about that and a flyer. I think I've got some flyers in here. Maybe, yes, I have. I've got some flyers that have got the 3 concerts. So we've got, I've called it the Winter Romance Series because we've got concerts coming up in 3 different romance languages. We've got French, Spanish, the flamenco group in July, and the Italian group in August. So I'll leave that. And the other thing is that, sorry, it's not that one that flashes, it's this one. This Friday, Oxfam is holding a fundraising concert, again at the Senior Citizens Hall.
Sorry? Yeah, the ukulele group, yes, they're not, no, the class is cancelled. I play in a ukulele group that meets on a Wednesday night.
Well, I'd love for you guys to come and
Yeah.
play for us sometime.
Yeah, unfortunately, the group that meets on a Wednesday night is not up to performing yet, because the group that meets on the Tuesday night that performs. So I did suggest to them that they could come on, but it's a bit tricky because,
Okay.
we'll work on it. We'll work
Cool.
on it.
Okay. David number 2. David Kerr is going to read Holiday on Hammond Island. Thank you.
Just as a little bit, thank you, just a little bit of background to this little piece of writing. My father was the first Australian film trials company. It was the outfit that did the mustard gas trials just outside of Proserpine. And when the father was there, my mother and the little sister and I moved up to Proserpine. When the war finished, my father was the person who cleaned up all the site of Galliara after the mustard gas trials. And this is a little postscript to that little trip. It was called something other. It was called Holiday on Hammond Island. Right, set the mood. Japan had been bombed. I'll start again. Japan had been bombed and finally surrendered. World War II had finished. Australia was in a recovery moment at last. At war's end, my mother, my little sister and I were living in Proserpine, where the first Australian field trials company was sited during the war. All the military equipment was disposed of except for 2 things: the electricity generating plant and the water purification plant. Both were too small for the town of Proserpine, but too big for private use. Hammond Island in 1945 was inhabited by a farmer and his wife, 2 Aboriginal stockmen, and 200 sheep. So how do you like that for a precursor of what Hammond Island is today? That's not in this. Sorry about that. Okay. So, my mother and my sister was part of the Galliara clean-up. After transporting it there, he spent a week installing the plant and getting it operating. During this time, my mother, little sister and I stayed there and enjoyed wandering through the lagoon and the surrounding reef. For us, it was a fitting end to the war. The farmer and his wife lived in a house on the island. And as they walked along the beaches, they picked up driftwood, which they made into a framework for the accommodation huts. When there was enough framework, they thatched it, and it was very comfortable accommodation on the island. When the tide was low, we walked out to the coral reef surrounding the island and saw the brilliant reds, purples, greens, blues and yellows not open until the next tide. Right? So you watched it. One day I headed out to the very edge of the reef, at the edge of the water that plunged into dark blue nothingness. And I looked down there into this dark blue nothingness, huge fish just swimming right there. I left the reef and hastily headed to Mum. And that's how we're able to have a holiday in Hammond Island. This, my mother was a watercolour artist, and this is a photocopy of a picture she painted of the first accommodation of the farmer's wife at Hammond Island before they sold it to them. So So that's my piece of mind. So thank you for listening.
David?
Thank you.
Gay. Gay is going to read us a poem and sing us a song.
I thought about starting with a bit of Shakespeare's poetry, and then I thought about it and I thought, why should I? He never reads any of mine. Thank you. This poem is called, and I haven't got my glasses. I can't read it. A most delicate thing. More fragile than a bird's egg, or coloured bubbles floating in the sun. Delicate as a patterned cobweb is a confidence shared. It is a sacred trust, a delicate sharing, to carve your secret from your breast and to hand it to another, and there to let it rest for safekeeping. To know another will with gentle hands receive the gift, and with care and love lay it aside, to ponder on and maybe to advise. Such sweet belief to know the receiver would never break the thread of trust that hangs. It happened to me, mind you, but my husband, when I sang it to him, said, "Who have you met?" I know you feel the same, I've seen it in your eyes, but we know we can never be, we couldn't stand the lies. Oh, I'll never feel your lips on mine, you'll never hold me in your arms, so this is goodbye. We both have families that we could never leave, and not for us a life of secrets and deceit. So I must go away before you say how you feel. So this is goodbye. My tread is heavy and my tears are falling free. I walk away from a love I know could never be. With every step I take, I feel my heart will break, but meeting you has just come too late. So this is goodbye, so this is goodbye. Thank you.
Marcello, your turn. You got this? And a song.
Yeah, I'm reading a poem and then I'm going to attempt to sing a song on an 11-string guitar. I never played an 11-string instrument. This poem is one of 3 that are written, 2 in English and 1 in Italian. They were inspired, I think I mentioned you before, by success was my aim in life, but I did not have all the requisites. I tried to mend my ways, to live in city's road and enter the safe passage. The truth was hard and cruel. There is no peace on this earth. We search for love, and when we find it, it's too hard to bear. We are scorned for being slight. The price is too high for the difficult goals. I live with no regrets. Strange? True. If I had another new life, I would not change it for the past. I was born twice and will die more than once. Now, this song, it's in Italian because from time to time I play this at the senior concerts at the Melbourne Town Hall. I played about 10 years ago and everyone loves it. I don't know why, but anyway, because it's very sad. As you know, and by the way, in October, when some of you might get the senior booklet in August, and 12 months after the war had finished, my father was still a prisoner of war in an Italian camp ran by the English. But unfortunately, so this song is, and I was in Canada, well, been in Canada for a long time, and there is the Isle of Ireland in Lake Ontario. There is about 1,000 small islands, and islands needs. Signor capitano, che ci vuoi fare? Questa qui è la guerra, non si può cambiare. Sulla collina canta la mitraglia e l'erba verde diventa gialla. E il fiume continua a battaglia, ma è per noi due ormai finita qua. Signor capitano, io devo andare, vengo anch'io con te, non mi può lasciare. No, non ti lascerò, io lo so già, starò con te fino all'eternità. E non c'è più me tasca, abbiamo un nome che mai risponderà. Signor capitano, si fermi qui. Sono tanto stanco, mi fermo.
And we actually have a list up on the table there. So if you'd like to receive our monthly newsletter, please put your name on there. And we just tell you about the sort of things that are happening here. We don't inundate you with emails. We really just send out a monthly one and maybe a reminder of our open mic night. Okay, lucky last, Coral. Where's Coral? Off the front here. Is this a travel story? No, something different. Okay, short story.
This is called The Boy
boy squatted down in the vegetable garden next to a broccoli plant. That's a caterpillar. Yes, I said. Why is it on there? Caterpillars love broccoli. It's their lunch. Oh, I hate broccoli. Do you? Do you hate broccoli, Grandma? I used to when I was a kid, but now I don't. Sometimes when you grow up, you change your mind about things. His look told me it would never happen with broccoli. He pushed the caterpillar with his finger and it fell into the garden, rather than the 4-year-old I'd become used to. How about a hot chocolate? Maybe we could find some biscuits in the cupboard, if we looked hard enough. He leapt onto the veranda and was inside before I'd had time to move. My mum doesn't like me dropping crumbs on the bench. He brushed the remains of his chocolate ripple onto the floor, on his arm. Poor thing, did it hurt? He paused. Yes, he said, and drew in a deep breath, but Daddy said not to cry because I'm a big boy. Anxiety twisted in my gut. Crying caused such irritation in my mother that my father had outlawed it to keep peace with her. To this day, I felt ashamed whenever feelings got the better of me. You have to cry. The tears wash the sadness away. He nodded and kicked his heels against the legs of the bar stool. Music drifted from the stereo, one of Chopin's nocturnes. I don't like my brother. Nathan, don't you? Why? He's pretty good at walking now, isn't he? I prompted. He throws my toys round and he broke my Ben 10. I tore his book and Mummy smacked me. The tear glistened and my heart rolled over. I'm a big boy and I have to be good. It was the same old stuff. A 4-year-old has to be an adult because he has a younger sibling. Insane, but everyone does it. I could think of nothing useful to say, so I wiped his eyes and nose with a tissue and stroked his shoulders. I wanted to fix everything for him. I wanted him surrounded in love, never to feel pain, never to be upset by anything. Fairyland, of course, he had his life to do like the rest of us. Why don't you have real music, Grandma? As usual, I was caught by surprise at how quickly he would put aside his troubles. What do you mean, real music? Like Mum's in the car. Mum's favourites were Pink and Beyonce. I don't like noisy music. I don't like noise. He examined the room as if checking out sound levels. Would you like me to put different music on? He shook his head and slurped a mouthful of chocolate, looking up at me slyly. My mum said I shouldn't make noise when I drink. Oh, I dropped my head in my hands, startling him. What did they want? A child? And I'll just go very short to another one that sort of, I've got a few bit of a list of stories about children. This is called Into the Mist. The trees muttered as the wind chafed at them. A chirrup issued from the nest in the prunus tree outside the window, then another. The babies were anxious. Their mothers moved even closer as they settled, calmed in the warmth and security of their cocoon, lulled back to sleep by the swaying of their branch. My baby had copied the birds with
Thanks, Rob. Okay, that's it for today. I just wanted to remind people if anyone was interested in our special weekend, that's this weekend. I'm very excited because Gay's going to come along. So we have a writing weekend up at a place called Carmacking Lake that has been rebuilt since the terrible fires in 2009. So if anyone wants to have a chat about it, there's the brochure there. So thanks for everyone for coming tonight. Please feel free to stay and have a chat, have a coffee. There's some lunches up there, and have some more wine if you like. And hopefully we'll see you again next month. Thanks.